So I'd like to welcome all our listeners. This is number four in our chats with Vincent Guido of a six-part series we're going to have in relation to how to communicate better and get the very best out of your cleaning company. And as I mentioned, I'm talking to Vincent, who is the MD of Clean Sweep Facilities here in Dublin. Vincent, today we're going to talk about the cost of cheap clean. Can you tell us what that means?
Sure. We have discussed in our industry what are the challenges in our previous videos. However, this issue is so prevalent in our industry with the whole idea about going for cheap property and facility managers going for cheap and why and the consequences. So we decided to make a separate video. Um, so let's talk about it in more details. I'm sure most of us had these experiences in life with buying cheap products. Hearing these expressions that you get what you pay, or uh, pay cheap and pay twice, or only rich people can afford cheap products. We all been there, but let's look at it closer. What's happening? So let's introduce a very simplistic, simple example. Uh, let's take two scenarios. We're buying a bicycle. One is cheap, the other one is more expensive. So the first one is you pay €100, and in both scenarios, the bicycles last 3 years. So you buy the first bicycle for €100. You pay every year. You pay for repairs and parts €50. So the total cost for 3 years is €250, or €83 per year. In the second example, you buy more expensive, by far more expensive, 50% more. So you buy for 150, but you only spend €10 per year on repairs and parts. So it costs you €180 for 3 years, or €60 per year. So you can see the difference, €60 and 83.
So that's a very interesting analogy, Vincent. Can you expand for us, or maybe deduct for us, what that means for the industry?
Sure, Brendan. Well, let's reflect a little bit what's happening here. Um, Cheaper tends to come with a lower price and a higher cost. When this is happening, cheaper is more expensive. Expensive tends to come with a higher price and a lower cost. When this is true, and often is, expensive is actually cheaper. If by cheaper we mean a lower cost. So the rule of thumb applies to all kinds of things in life and in business all over the world. Say, for example, if we take a fast food restaurant, we get you know inexpensive food, but it impacts on our health long term. Or for example, in business setting, we hire an employee, we don't pay enough attention to recruitment, do it very quickly. However, we suffer long term because that employee is a bad fit for our company and culture. So another thing is, there is an old saying that a customer, you can choose no more than, as a customer, you can choose no more than two of three things, which is better, faster, or cheaper. You can deliver better and faster, but delivering better and faster comes at a higher price. It's just simply costs more to produce better. It takes a different level of capabilities, capacities, greater degree of care, a more superior attention to detail, requires greater investment to provide that outcome. So you might be able to deliver faster and cheaper, there's no doubt about it, but it makes sense that you can deliver faster and cheaper together, because the quality of the outcome is not important. There are many companies that deliver faster and cheaper, but none that deliver faster, cheaper, and better.
Mhm.
Well, there is an exception here when somebody says better, they actually mean faster and cheaper. They call it better, but that's only an exception. Um, and another thing is because of what I just mentioned, there is no business model on providing better at a lower price. No, not that I'm aware of, and it's just there is not enough profit to deliver both better and cheaper. That's why we call inferior products cheap, because that's what they are.
Mhm.
Um, so as a service provider, you can promise better, of course, yeah, and you can promise faster, you can promise cheaper, but you cannot promise all three together.
Mhm.
Uh, you cannot promise better and cheaper together. But some people do that. And that's why many of the customers believe in fairy tales.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. Uh, there are some salespeople or service providers that they are willing to tell their potential customers whatever they want to hear just to get the deal. So they naturally tell the fairy tales.
Yes.
And why do the customers believe in fairy tale? Well, there are many reasons why they believe in them.
Mhm.
It's one of the reasons is to do with industry challenges that we discussed in our last episode about the general confusion of the buyer when it comes to cleaning science in general, general pressure from board of directors um, to go for the cheapest, or in some cases they actually mean best value, but there is a confusion between best value and cheapest. Also, general lack of understanding of what the best value or value of clean is, or the value of cheap clean is. And another another reason is some clients are just not mature enough as a buyer. Well, let's face it, they don't yet have enough experience to know that what they want is really unachievable at
Mhm.
that low price point. So they don't believe they should change their understanding about service value. Um, Really mature clients, they know that it takes a real partner and a great effort to get the results that they need. Um, so it's really very important to have clarity in our head in regards to what we really want, what we really need. Do
Mhm.
we need the lowest? Do we need the best quality, or do we need the best overall solution? So in our next episode, we are going to look at anatomy of a cleaning service, and we will put side to side a cheap service and a great service, and we will analyze the difference in their internal systems.
Mhm.
Um, we will look at the real life example, how actually expensive is a cheap cleaning service. My contact details are below, so if you'd like to go deeper on any of these subjects, give me a call, or drop me an email, and I can help you in any way I can to expand on these topics.
Thanks a million, Vincent. I think that was a very, very interesting video, an interesting chat for people to have listened to in terms of getting the best out of their cleaning company. And I'm really looking forward to the next one, which compares the implications between going one direction and going the other. But I can't leave you today, let you go without giving us the tip of the day, which you promised for each video. And this is a tip specifically for property managers in order to ensure that they get consistent level of cleaning off their cleaning company. So what is your tip for today, Vince?
Today, I'd like to talk briefly about industry memberships. Because if a service provider is a member of any, well, not any, of an industry organization, this should give you a good indication that you're actually dealing with a professional service, and you shouldn't expect an amateur attitude when it comes to cleaning standards, consistency, and the best results that you want from a service provider. So that's why they by being a member, they are showing you that they want to be professional in all aspects and help you achieve your best results. That's what usually means when somebody wants to be a member of his industry organization.
Okay. Excellent. So as always, a really, really good tip there. Vincent, thank you very, very much for that conversation today. I think a very valuable video and insights there for property managers. Thank you, Vincent.
You're welcome.